メジャー翻訳速報。
メジャー翻訳速報、海外の反応へようこそ。今回はドジャースタジアムでの熱戦をお届けします。大谷翔平選手のホームランに、キム・ヘソン選手のメジャー初本塁打、ムーキー・ベッツ選手の感情表現あふれる打席など、見どころ満載の試合となりました。この動画が気に入りましたら、コメントやチャンネル登録で応援よろしくお願いします。
It was a real competitive ball game at Dodger Stadium, but it got away from the Athletics late in this one as the Dodgers would put up 5 in the bottom of the 8th inning, and the final would be 9-3. We got the rubber game of the 3-game set tomorrow from Chavez Ravine. Chris Townsend alongside the Super Scout Shooty Babbitt. A very competitive ball game for a while, but the bullpen just struggled there in the end and couldn't keep it tight.
Yeah, the score doesn't dictate the way this game was actually played. Dodgers bullpen came in and did a good job. The pitch hitters came in and came through in situations that they needed. You know, the A's took advantage of the opportunities that they had. I mean, didn't have many hits, but they scored a few runs. They had a chance. But I challenged you to give me a team that has a tougher 3, 4, 5 order in their lineup than these guys do. And we're not even talking about the supporting cast, but I think we minimize how good the A's pitchers were yesterday to be able to hold Freeman, Ohtani, and Mookie Betts in check. And today, you see why that was such a great task, because those dudes were dangerous.
Well, you think of all the years. I mean, they've won the division 11 out of 12 years. You don't do that without a terrific 40-man roster year after year after year. Look at all the starting pitchers they've had. They've used 11 different starting pitchers this year, the Dodgers. They have so much depth. They're spending a lot of money on depth. They've deferred a lot of money, but they're doing it within the CBA. They're really the model organization right now, but they got so many weapons. I think Dallas Braden did a good job talking about in this game. You kind of see as the game goes on and you're the manager and you're trying to match up your bullpen against their lineup. Then you look at all the different closers that they have. They don't have one closer. They have multiple closers. There's a tremendous amount of depth on this on this roster.
I wouldn't have wanted to be in Mark Kotze's position to have to make a choice of, I'm going to walk Ohtani to get to Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
We're talking about arguably top 4 player in the league.
With Freddie Freeman behind that.
So that just goes to show you how tough they are. And you know one other thing, Tony, I think they're set up very well for the second half of the year, because if you look at that disabled list, it's not a bunch of guys that are going to be out for a year or two because it was Tommy John or this or that. They're kind of erring on the cautious side because they know that with the roster that they have, they're still going to have an opportunity to be in this thing when it's all said and done. If those guys are healthy, and you're talking about the guys that they acquired, the Snells and the left-hander, they're going to be somebody that you're going to have to deal with regardless.
Yeah, Clayton Kershaw is about to come back. We'll see with Snell. We'll see with Glass now. Some good news for the A's. We'll play the highlight a little bit later, but good to see Tyler Soderstrom hit a home run for the first time in 23 games. You know, ever since he's made that move from first base to left field, we hadn't really seen any power. His first home run out in left field. So there were some good things in this game for the Athletics.
You know, the question was brought up to me in the green room today about that situation. Do you think the move to left field could possibly, you know, get him thinking a little bit too much defensively and to take away from the power or offense abilities? And I think it was a great question, but if they had moved him back to catcher, somewhere that he really didn't embrace as a pro, then maybe we would have something to talk about. But I think it kind of makes it a little easier for him, because at first base, he's in the middle of action all the time. He wasn't used to all the footwork that was necessary over there. And you could tell the difference when Kurtz is over there. There was a play today where he had to stretch out and keep his feet on the back, but it looked like he'd been doing it forever. So I think it did him a justice for moving him out into left field. And this dude, if it did, you'll never be able to tell, because he's probably one of the most on-kill young kids that you're going to see. You can't tell if he's going good or badly. So, yeah, it's good to see him hit one out of the ball.
Yeah, he threw a runner out of third today. He's showing defensively he can do it. He's made some good catches out there. So it's the adjustment, getting comfortable. But, you know, probably where he's going to, unless he's going to make that transition to third, this may be where he ends up for a while, is left field. So you got to get used to it.
And one thing I had not thought about, and surprises me, him playing left field, and with the holes that he has, this is a catcher with a plus arm moving in left field. That arm really plays up out there. So for him to throw a runner out today, you're probably going to see a lot more of that.
Good to see Ohtani's back, as he could be in the end. in that role where he's the setup guy for Mason Miller. It was his first outing of the year. Good to see. I mean, because you see the plus fastball.
You need stuff at the end of the ball game, and we start looking at each other 97,
yeah,
98. Oh, yeah, I like this. Wood life through the zone.
Well, and you also look, that's now 8 consecutive games against first-place teams. You said it. We talked about a little bit about yesterday, got a little bit in it today, but this is a good learning time for the A's, right? When you look at all the teams they've taken on early, you talk about the Cubs, you talk about the Dodgers and the Padres and the Mets and the Yankees, and even the Mariners just came to town in Sacramento in first place. They're playing the best of the best. You're learning right now really how good you are and what you really need to work on.
So many times you're on a team that's not going to the postseason at the end of the year playing one of the better teams, and you're looking over there and someone will say something like, you see what those guys are doing over there? You see the type of team they are? That's what we're going to look like in a couple of years or next year. But you've got to sit on it for the whole offseason, get ready. But now you're looking at it at the beginning of the season, and you have something to gauge right now. Hey, we've gone toe-to-toe with the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. We was in this game. The score doesn't indicate how close it was, but they had a chance. And the great thing about it, they still have a chance tomorrow, which they didn't have against the Yankees.
Yeah, you take 2 out of 3 tomorrow. Well, what are we saying after tomorrow's show?
Oh, my gosh. Let's get it. Let's bring them Giants. Let's go see them Giants. That's what we're going to be saying.
Right. I mean, the schedule, you think about the Giants after that, and then you head back home to Sacramento where you got the Angels come to town for 4. I mean, you take 2 out of 3 in L.A., it's a big deal.
Yeah, and you got Ron Washington. I mean, there's always something to look forward to, facing some of your old teammates, somebody you might have worked with. We see Wash, what he's doing down there with the Angels. Now he's got red, white, and blue on, so he is definitely the enemy. But this is another point that you'll get a chance to see another young team battle against another team that's on the come. And the one thing that you want to do is separate yourself from the team that's down there looking up at you, and that's the one advantage that the A's have.
You'll be able to call your buddy Ron Washington on his cell phone in the clubhouse?
If need so, for sure.
Yeah. Last time I checked, they were putting those cell phones away. Is that still working?
They are playing a little bit better.
Let's get to the Toyota turning point, and we're going to go to the 6th inning. Paez really had a good game today. The Cuban, he would walk here. It was a really good at-bat. We'll get into Hoagland. I didn't think Hoagland looked all that bad today. A couple tough pitches. This is the play you're going to talk about where base hit into left field and Tyler Soderstrom throws out Paez at third.
Bullet. I mean, if you look at the angle, understanding that his ball going to tail a little bit and give him a perfect one hop in there. And that was the key to that play, the angle in which that ball came in there.
And then a tough one where you just see Rojas hits a double into right center, and the ball just skips and runs at Dodger Stadium.
It's amazing how the game speeds up on these type of plays. Everybody's moving, backing up. Got to make a perfect catch, try to keep that guy from extending. One little misplay, and that's when all the wheels start moving.
I mean, you're tied right there, right? If Rojas doesn't hit that double, you know, if you could somehow get out of that, you're tied. That's kind of where you start to see things start to leak a little bit.
When you're deep as they are, and the manager has a lot of moves that he can make, you know, Rojas is a guy that's a really good defensive player. A lot of people expecting him to get a lot more time, but with Mookie Betts doing what he's doing at shortstop, it has limited his opportunities. So he's salivating looking for an opportunity, in which he got. And you talk about Andy Poggis. I mean, this is one of their top prospects that finally came up to the big leagues, got a chance, really struggled early on. I mean, Dave Roberts was in the news telling this guy, you've got an ultimatum, either you're going to hit or we're going to send you up out of here. And I don't think he's been out of the lineup since. He's hitting close to 290, doing a little damage right now. So, and he's a strong young kid. So they're finding out a lot of things about some of their younger players while these guys are hurt. And a lot of times that's a good thing for the future.
Yeah, he's sporting a nice little 834 OPS with 3 hits tonight. You know, we don't cover the Dodgers every single day, but when you're always looking at the box scores and you're like watching Quick Pitch on MLB Network and you're seeing all the highlights, it really is amazing all the different guys they utilize on a roster throughout a season. They use a lot of different players.
That's why I try not to get too high or too low, especially this time of the year, Tony. I mean, we can get excited about all the great things that the young A's are doing or some of the other teams, but I mean, my goodness. I mean, like I've said before, some of these guys, gamers, their gloves just now getting broke in and getting comfortable with. And there's so many things that have to happen. But coming out of spring training, just like the green and gold, were so excited about the depth that they had in the pitching staff, a lot of competition, and it's shown. I mean, even though they were tired, they were still able to take the bump when called upon, and lo and behold, you look at us, we're still right in the middle of all this, and you've got to be excited about that. And there's more coming down there. There's been a lot of people talking about the strength of the young A's farm system. They're challenging these guys, and they're meeting the challenge. Look at Kurtz, look what he's doing, and it's pretty much just a symbol of what the A's have coming in the future.
Yeah, we don't talk about it a lot, but as of yesterday, the A's were tied with the second-best record for all their minor league teams. Only the Brewers had a better record. They were tied with the Dodgers. So you want to see success. You want to be winning at the minor league level. You want your players to learn how to win down there. It shows you have some talent. And that's something we haven't said in a long time about the A's system.
You're exactly right. And I think it was about a week ago when the notes came out, and it might have been the first time in a long time, I can't recall when, is that at every level in the A's minor league system, the team were leading the division. And that tells you how good each team is performing.
I mean, it got, obviously, you know, in the 8th inning, we gave up 5 runs. But up until the 8th inning, this was a baseball game. I mean, obviously, the result at the end, the 9-3 score, makes it look like a really lopsided game. But outside of that one inning, I thought, you know, we were in this ball game. We had a chance to win.
What did you see from Squirstrom tonight? It was first home run in almost a month. Must have felt good for him.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. You know, Sody's still taking good at bats. You know, obviously, the home runs came in a hurry in April, and he hadn't hit one in a while. But you know, this kid, obviously, last night was a tough night. He had 4 strikeouts. Goes up the first at bat, has another strikeout, and you know, then he obviously stays with his plan and gets a ball up in the zone, drives it out to center field. It's another ball in the gap. So you know, that's showing, you know, a lot of maturity in his mindset, not allowing the failure to, you know, take a hold of you know, of him and basically, you know, stay in the negative. So I felt good about his at-bats tonight.
And what do you see from Gunnar tonight? Other than a few solo shots, it was pretty strong through 5.
Yeah, I mean, a couple infield hits, you know, 3 solo homers, you know, against a really solid lineup. You know, I thought he handled it pretty well, managed the game and kept us in the game. Like I said, you know, if JJ makes the play, maybe it's a different outcome, you know, in that 6th inning for him. But, you know, at the end of the day, we just didn't get it done.
Let's get to the Highlight Zone, brought to you by Mancini's Sleep World. An old friend stopped by, the old peanut vendor from the Coliseum. 2-time Academy Award winner, one of the greatest actors in the history of film. The great Tom Hanks sporting his A's gear.
Yeah, looking good. Wear a mean A's hat, that's for sure.
Got to look at the pitching matchup. You know, the 3 solo bombs obviously hurt Gunnar. But still, he's very impressive. Throws a lot of strikes. 3 starts so far in the big leagues. This would be the worst one. But still a lot to like what you see from this young pitcher.
You know, I talk about having a plan. It was quite obvious what he was trying to do tonight. And you can watch the way that he was trying to set up Ohtani. First pitch is kind of cutter. He was trying to get it in there, and I could see what the purpose was because of what his stuff typically does. But he couldn't get in there deep enough. He was able to figure it out when you see Freddie Freeman up, because now I'm trying to get you up off the plate a little bit. So I'm not going to let you extend your hands. You don't like it in there. So what I'm going to start doing now is swinging it back. I got you thinking inside. I'm going to give you a little gas, and I'm throw the change up, speed you up a little bit. Now I got you thinking out there, so you're probably going to start looking at this. So I'm going to take a little bit more out, and you can't pull the trigger. So when I talk about so much about Greg Maddux and the pitchers that are not able to use that swing back fastball, which I thought is an amazing weapon, you know, as with the changeup. And I talked to you, I said, Tony, well, you're the pitching guy, you know, you talk to other pitchers about, and every pitcher you talk to, pitching coach, you ask him, can you teach a guy how to throw a curveball? And they'll tell you, oh, yeah. I said, well, why don't many guys throw a curveball? Because you know good and well you cannot. You can show them how, but if they're not born with the ability to snap that thing off, they cannot throw a good curveball. That's when they come up with that pitch called slurve. So you need to be
supinate and pronate.
There it is. And
not everybody does both well.
And the key to be able to pronate, the former quarterback, it's a natural.
You got to be able, then that's when you're going to have that, the 2-seamer, you're going to have the good split, you're going to have the good circle change. We now talk about the kick change now. And Hoagland has that. And what I love about Hoagland is, you know, He got burnt today on inside pitches that he gave up, and Kim also, the Comet, hit his first career home run today, Kim. But for the most part, being around the plate, being competitive in the strike zone, to see that in a young pitcher with the A's, he does have the velocity, 94, 95, but to be able to win in the strike zone and be competitive, because we see so many guys who come out, whether it's starters or bullpens, they throw so many non-competitive pitches, and a lineup like the Dodgers will not swing at those pitches. They will force you to come into the strike zone.
You're telling me about guys not coming in, not throwing strikes? Can you imagine being in Fort Wayne, Indiana at 10 o'clock at night, and they bringing in reliever after reliever, and there's 3-1, and there's 3-2, and it's 3-0, and it's ball 4, and your job is to come in and throw strikes. I don't know if it's fear or you just don't have any feel for the zone. But one thing that we know for sure with Mr. Hugland, there is no fear whatsoever, because even though he got shot out of yard, the first pitch by the best hitter in the game, he came right back in there and kept attacking.
Are you saying you see a lot of bad pitching when you're scouting in the bushes?
Oh, my gosh. That's why they down there in the bushes.
Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Dodgers. John Hartung, James Loney, D-Train, Dontrell Willis, and the Dodgers did what we talked about in the pregame show. They needed a bounce-back win after last night getting drubbed by the score of 11-1. The A's hitting 5 homers last night. Dodgers respond with 4 home runs in this game tonight. They came back from down in this game, James, and it was Miguel Rojas, the tie-breaking double in the 6th, and then they tacked on 5 more in the 8th to really put it away.
Yeah, we saw the excitement with the comeback, and, you know, I don't always love giving my man D-Train credit here, but Shohei setting the tone right there with the bomb early on, so that was a great way to set the tone, and we saw Miggy Rowe with a big double and some guys to get some insurance runs at the end.
Well, you know what, top to bottom, the whole lineup factored. Now, yes, everything starts and ends on the mound. I thought Yamamoto was solid. He had one bad pitch to Sean, and that was the home run. That was the hanging breaking ball. But other than that, I thought the mound presence was there. The command of the split change was there, and the fastball velocity was there all night long. And so, yes, this offense had 13 hits, and I knew they were going to get their foot down. But for me, when you win a world championship, it starts and ends on the mound. So they had the right guy on the mound in Yamamoto, and he really set the tone for this offense.
And Miguel Rojas did not start in this game. He came off the bench, had that tie-breaking RBI double, and right now he's standing by with Kirsten Watson.
Miguel, when it comes to pinch hit situations, you've been excellent. How have you found just preparing yourself to be ready when called upon?
Yeah, I feel like when you have the role and the situation, you kind of know what dog is thinking right there. When it's any situation that we can score a run that change the game, they're gonna go to us. Kike and I and CT, if we're on the bench, it's pretty nice to know when you can come in the game, when you can impact the game, and in a different way. You know, like some days it can be a big hit, some days it can be a walk, some days it can be just a bunt. So I'm happy that I can contribute, even when it's on the bench, and just trying to do my job that day for the team and making this team better is my obligation.
With getting the results, is there anything that you have unlocked as of late? Because things haven't really going your way offensively.
Yeah, I feel like when you don't play every day, you gotta be ready for every opportunity and put yourself in situations even before the game starts. That's what I've been doing. I've been taking practice really serious. Sometimes I go in the cage and I hit high velocity, I hit off the trajectory, and all that stuff is being getting me ready. But the mental part is being important as well, just to feel comfortable with the role and the situation. At the beginning of the year, I didn't know when I was gonna pinch hit or anything, but right now we had a better understanding of when we're gonna get in the game, and it's really nice to see that.
Take me back to the inning, whether it was the sac bunt moving Kike over, of course the intentional walk for Shohei Ohtani, then Mookie Betts. We saw the emotions after that swing. Did you think he took that personally?
Oh, definitely, 100%. And sometimes you gotta find motivations within the game and within yourself that give you that extra edge, you know. And Mookie is a guy who's been in this spot and done it so many times before. And sometimes you don't need to poke the bear like that. But I mean, as a opposition, you have no choice, you know. Like, you gotta go with the matchup, and we've seen it happen in the past, you know, when they walk Mookie to go to Freddie, and we know what happened. So it's a great feeling being part of this team and knowing that we have so many good players, especially in the top of the lineup. But I mean, regardless of who's on the play, I feel like we have a pretty good chance to win.
It's no secret it's been an interesting 24 hours with the loss last night. The news, of course, with Austin Barnes being DFA'd. When it came to getting this win, did it feel like you all needed this one to come together?
Yeah, definitely. The boys always are hurt because of that, because we created a bond that everybody is part of the family. And when you lose a member of your family, you kind of like feel for it. But at the end of the day, we got to move on. We got to make adjustments and receive and welcome Delton Rush in the best way we can. And we can be like really being sorry about ourselves and all that. We need to come and play the game the right way and compete. And we got this W, and we got the chance to win the series tomorrow.
Miguel, congratulations on this win tonight.
Thank you.
Huge pinch hit RBI double for Miguel Rojas, giving the Dodgers the lead for good in this game, James. And it's one of the things in this game that is so difficult. I mean, the game is hard enough as it is, but to come off the bench, be asked to pinch hit when you're cold, you've been sitting down in that dugout, and Miguel Rojas was ready for the moment, and he delivered.
Yeah, I mean, Miggy Rowe's the best guy to have in that position because he embraces this role that he has. You talk about Mookie Betts playing shortstop. This was his position, right? This is a position he could have played more often. But he is ready for the moment. You know he's down there watching the iPad, getting his body loose. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's got to get that body ready to go. And that's just a nice piece of hitting right there. You got Michael Conforto on first base. There's a hole open, right? Is he trying to go the other way right there? I think so. I don't think he's in full mode. Right. And he gets a fastball right over the middle of the plate, drives it the other way, gives Michael Conforto a chance to score. And that's just a veteran presence right there. And it's really hard to quantify that at the end of the year of how special that is. But the Dodgers organization knows how vital he is to this team.
Well, when you communicate like that, you stay ready. You don't have to get ready. And so situational hits is very important. You have veteran leadership and young talent up and down this lineup, and that's what I love about Dave Roberts, being able to communicate to Miggy Rowe and guys like that to say, hey, even though you're not in the starting lineup, you will factor, especially if certain guys come out of the bullpen for the opposition. You have to be ready, and also the scouting report, you have to be ready. So Miggy Rowe was hunting that fastball up, and he did not miss it. I felt like last month, that's a pitch up in the zone there. He might try to overswing, try to generate some power, and maybe roll over or miss that pitch. That was a short, easy swing in the gap, and as soon as that ball was down, Conforto was off to the races. He was thinking about scoring the whole time. That's called baseball, high-level baseball at its finest, not only physically but mentally, especially in the situation and seizing the situation and getting it done.
Well, during the commercial breaks, these two guys were planning out their golf day tomorrow, and but what I saw in Miguel Rojas, D-Train, was a guy that has a lot of different clubs in his bag, if you will. He had the RBI double. He had a huge sacrifice bunt in the 8th inning that really set the stage for a big 8th inning where the Dodgers put up 5 runs and iced this game.
We talk about playing the game the right way, you know what I mean, the championship way. And sometimes in a long season that happens. You see them get beat up on yesterday. How do they respond? Hey, we're going to come back in our friendly confines and get the little things done. Situational hitting. And listen, every impact shot is not a home run. It's able to keep the line moving. A nice little sacrifice bunt. You know what? With this lineup, all the depth, bunts matter too. Playing the game the right way in certain situations. Okay, you're going to walk Ohtani. We got another $30 million man that can get his foot down. Angry too. I like that. And seeing that emotion from Mookie, I guarantee he's going to get going because he took that at bat personal and cashed it in at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Miggy Rowe and Kike take that personally. They know they're bringing the lefty in, so the A's are saying, you know what, we're going to force your hand. Yeah. We're going to make you bring your righties in and see if you can beat us. And guess what? That's exactly what they did. And when we saw Mookie with that emotion at second base, you know, we haven't seen that in a long time. We know he's, you know, passionate. We know he loves the game, but he had that big vein popping out the neck, man. He was looking over that first base dugout like, look, I'm that guy still. I'm the guy that can still drive in runs. We know Shohei is the guy on this team, but Mookie is the guy that can drive our guys in those situations because they're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep doing that all year. They're going to walk Shohei. They're going to walk, you know, those guys in front of him. Mookie and Freddie.
Mookie with a chip on his shoulder?
Mookie and Freddie.
Watch out.
Hey, they're going to walk Mookie sometimes to get to Freddie.
And it doesn't matter if they're walking Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, or Shohei Ohtani to get to Mookie Betts, James. He's going to take that personally in that moment.
As he should. He should take that personally. He's like, I'm a superstar. I get paid the big bucks still. I can do this.
All right, Dodgers get the win. They come from behind to win this game tonight. Let's send it upstairs one more time and check in with the guys who called it, Joe Davis and Eric Karros. Dodgers got a win and 8 strikeouts as well. You know what that means? Tomorrow you can celebrate by going to Jack in the Box. Get a free Jumbo Jack with a purchase of a large drink only at LA area restaurants. And if the Jumbo Jack's not enough food, just do what D-Train does. He like to mix in a couple tacos too.
Get some fries too on Train. That's right. Get some fries. Make them fresh.
Today was that man right there, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, carrying the load. He had 6 of the Dodgers' 8 strikeouts. Also picked up win number 5 on the season. Let's hear from Yoshi right now with Kirsten and the media.
Yoshi, when you look at this outing, there are times kind of getting behind in the count. How did you find just navigating through the A's lineup today?
今日、振り返るときにカウントでちょっと、悪くなることが多かったんですけども、そういう中でどういうふうにこの打線を抑えていこうと思いましたか。
カウントを悪くして、また打たれる、というのがすごく多かったので、途中からまた、しっかり、冷静に分析してまたこう、ピッチングの基本的な、大切なところを確認して、なんとか、粘れた方かなと思います。
Yes, after falling behind, because like you said, because I was allowing some hits, so reset my mind and then went back to fundamental things, check and then adjust it, and then try to navigate, grind out this day.
How about your adjustments a bit physically, just going back to 5 days of rest as opposed to 6?
中5日と中6日でのその違い、調整の仕方っていうところでは違いとかあるんですか。
そうですね、1日短いので、なんていうか、より1日を丁寧にしっかり調整できてますし、中5日のリズムの中で、しっかりと調整はできていると思います。
It's even though that's 1 day shorter rest. So I'm taking it 1 day. It's more like I should say like a more meticulous plan. So I think because I've been able to adjust myself within the rest 5 days.
Carl's junior moment of the game. D-Train, as you know, you never forget that first home run on the show. Hae-Sung Kim ties it up at 3 with this blast.
You know what? This is the moments that are coolest, and nobody will forget it, man, especially the energy, the big moment, the big swing. He didn't even know how to celebrate. By the time the ball landed, he was already at second base. It would have been inside the park.
Because he's fast.
That's how fast he was, but many more to come from this young man.
It's also his first time ever starting a game here at Dodger Stadium. He goes deep to tie the game. Only got a couple of at-bats because Miguel Rojas would pinch hit for him because the left-hander came into the game. But, James, it was a really good night for Kim, showing the speed and the power.
Yeah, just great overall night for him. And I think he's going to have that confidence going into everything that he does, whether it's defensively, whether it's getting a good jump in the base run. But here he is in the box, and we see that the speed is being shown right here. He hits a ball right up the middle. You know what? I think he already knows it's a base hit. He's running hard right out the box. A lot of times guys feel sorry for themselves. You see right here, he doesn't hit it that hard, but guess what? He's got that speed going right down the line, and he beats that pretty easily. It's not even really close. And I just love that he gives a safe call to the umpire.
Yeah.
He's like, I know I'm new here, but guess what? You better call me safe. And he's going to show that all year.
You know what? The bat-to-ball skills is there, and that's another weapon. Yes, he can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but him being able to get his foot down, I love seeing that. And listen, you miss to him up, he's going to let that thing sing, and I love that he showed power, and he showed power in AAA. That's why they were super excited. I love that swing. He beat the barrel to the position. I think he was looking something soft, but you can see that ball is belt high, head down through the baseball, and as soon as he squirts up, he's like, oh, I got a chance, but I'm going to roll out there. And listen, he went to big man land like James Loney used to do. 385 feet, get your foot down. Don't waste all the sunflower
This guy, he deserves a whole bag. His first big league home run.
I love it.
Great night for Hae-Sung Kim. Let's hear from him right now. He's inside the clubhouse talking with Kirsten and the media.
Hae-Sung, well, first, congratulations to get your first career home run. Just how special was that? And also to do it here at Dodger Stadium.
일단 MLB 첫 커리어 홈런 축하드리고요. 이게 또 다저스 스타디움에서 일어나는데 얼마나 이게 특별한지요.
그쵸. 항상 이 그라운드에서 뛰고 싶어 했던 사람으로서 여기서 메이저리그 첫 홈런을 친 게 굉장히 기쁘고 설레었던 것 같습니다.
As a person who I always dream for to play in this stadium, Dodger Stadium, I'm really happy and I'm really thrilled right now.
The results have been excellent as of late. What do you attribute just to the offensive success that you've been having, and how encouraging or how proud are you of yourself to see yourself getting these results at the big league level?
최근에 이렇게 나온 공격에 대해서 이런 결과들이 좀 이렇게 성공적으로 나오고 있는데 좀 어떤 과정이 있었고 또 어떤 기여를 하려고 했었는지요?
일단 팀에서 제가 해야 될 역할이 어떤 건지 잘 파악을 하려 했고 네, 제가 할 수 있는 거 하려고 하고 있습니다.
I try to figure out what my role is in this organization, and I'm just trying to control what I can control.
you to hit a home run? Does that feel kind of like the culmination of all the work you've been putting in with your swing going back to when you signed?
그래서 오늘 나온 홈런이 좀 최근에 여태까지 우리가 계속 해왔던 그런 과정들이나 그런 거 좀 결과물이라고 좀 생각하나요?
잘 모르겠습니다. 홈런 뭐 치고 싶다고 치는 게 아니기 때문에 그냥 쳤는데 나온 거기 때문에 그냥 잘 모르겠습니다.
I don't really know about it, but you know, you don't really hit a home run that you feel. I mean, you want hit a home run. So, it's hard to explain, but it just came out as a result today.
James Max Muncy had one massive swing tonight, broke this game open. His second home run of the year, capped a 5-run 8th inning.
Yeah, he was mean-mugging that ball a little bit. You know, obviously the power's been down a little bit. He knows it's in the tank. He was staring that ball down like, you know what? I'm going to hit a few more of these this year. That pitch was right out over the middle of the plate. A lot of elbows and knees flying from the pitcher at him. But I like the confidence. I like the little strut. You know, it wasn't too much. So hopefully, you know, get Max right back on track, because those are the fastballs that he needs to hit out. I know he can get his base hits on those, but those are the pitches you want to drive out of the park.
And we've seen him throughout his Dodgers career. Sometimes he hits a lot of home runs in bunches. Hopefully this is the start of something great for Max Muncy. Great night there for Mookie Betts as well, showing a lot of fire, a lot of emotion after they walked Shohei Ohtani to get to him, and he delivered a 2-run double. Let's hear from Mookie right now inside the clubhouse.
Well, we saw the emotions. Did you take it personally?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Take that off. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. I wouldn't want to pitch a Shohei either, so I definitely understand. It's just all in the game, you know, just being a competitor and just let some emotions out.
Yeah, just tell me.
It's not the first time that's happened. Like, is that one of those things where you, obviously, it's a tough decision for any manager to make, but like, you wonder if they'd be better off maybe pitching Shohei at certain points like that?
I feel like choosing to pitch to Shohei is probably, a lot of times, that's a losing battle. So, like I said, I definitely understand. You know, I hadn't done anything all day, and so I think it was just a mix of finally coming through for the boys, and then in that situation, you know, we just needed something to happen to ensure a win there, and so I was just kind of a mix of happiness for myself, for the boys, and you know, whatever.
When you come up in those spots, like, are you kind of mentally feeling like, okay, like I really want to deliver here? Like, obviously you're trying to do well in every at bat, but like, does it feel different at all when you're at the plate in that kind of spot?
No, I think it's just the time and place in the game, especially in a game like this. I mean, they've been swinging it, so we really need to try and extend the lead a little bit, just because we've seen how quick they can come back, and so you know, it was really just a situation where just, you know, you're just in it, you're just in the game, and you just kind of get lost in it.
Dodgers win it 9-3 over the Athletics. Let's head back inside and hear from Dave Roberts right now. He's speaking with the media.
It speaks to, you know, how much, you know, he what he expects from himself and his role in the ball club, and you know, he expects production. And so I do think that the last couple nights and just the way he was swinging the bat, you could see that emotion exude once he hit that double. And I do like the way he takes it personal. And it was good to see.
Did you feel like the offensively picking up the down, especially, I mean, whether it was Jason Kim's first career home run to Kike coming off the bench, Miguel Rojas coming off the bench, just kind of situations like that, just like everything was coming together?
I did. I actually just thought that tonight we competed really well. I thought the fight with our guys was really good. And I thought Will continues to take really good at-bats. I thought Ha-Seong Kim's at-bats really good. And it was good to see him hit his first Major League home run. And, you know, just to be able to tack on later, to stay away from the closer, I thought was very helpful as well. So, you know, Yamamoto wasn't particularly sharp tonight. But I still felt he did enough to certainly go deeper in the game and to give us a chance to win, which is obviously a good thing.
Obviously not the first one. Did you plot Mookie's reaction when you got the second?
I didn't. I just no, I didn't. But I heard afterward how emotional he was, and I think there's a lot of pent up kind of frustration in himself. And I think that even with Max hitting the homer, I think that, you could see that frustration kind of come out with the joy.
It's not the first time that managers had to choose between Shohei and Mookie. That's probably how difficult the choice is. Is there anything you see Mookie those at bats usually after?
There's as Mookie said, that he takes things like that personal, and to be quite frank, it was the right baseball decision, given how Mookie was swinging the bat and Shohei, and so, but it was good, and sometimes that kind of unlocks a player. It locks him in a little bit more when you take things personal, and for him to come through in that moment, which it seems like when things like that do happen, he seems like he comes through more times than not.
All right, Dodgers now go for the series win tomorrow. What's going to be a bullpen game. The Dodgers are going to open with Matt Sauer. Game 1, it was the A's offense with the 5 homers. Tonight, Game 2, the Dodgers answer with 4 home runs of their own. James, what are you hoping to see in the rubber game tomorrow night?
Yeah, we want to see Matt Sauer give us some length. We saw that happen against the Marlins, 4 strong innings. So hopefully just attacking the strike zone, hitting your spots, obviously, but really trying to attack the strike zone, make these guys put the ball in play weekly.
Matt Sauer is the matchup against the A's lineup the first time through. That's a very important matchup. Allow the Dodger offense to be able to settle in and get some runs and score early like they did tonight.
All right, so tomorrow you guys are going to play each other on the golf course. How many shots is he going to give you?
I gives him nothing.
You don't even know if he's going to show up. He might not even wake up.
I don't like that bass in your voice right there.
You guys have been arguing for the last hour about this.
You've been part of it, too. Don't be talking.
We'll see you tomorrow night. For James, D-Trade, and Kirsten, I'm John. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow pregame at 6 o'clock. I got my money on Train.
ドジャースの9対3での勝利。